Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about something that has been in my mind for quite some time. And it is really about how the pandemic is affecting businesses and how businesses are reacting to what is happening around them. You might remember at the very beginning, people were saying, "Oh, we are in all of this together, we are all in the same boat." And then someone correctly said, "Well, we're not really all in the same boat. We might be all in the same storm, but the boat that we use might be different." I mean, there are someone that started the pandemic in their yacht, on their little boat. Some that started in pretty big boats, pretty big yachts. Remember the stars that were crying from their villas and saying, "Oh, this is so horrible," and we were like, "Yeah, no, we don't relate to you because you are locked in a mansion with tennis courts and swimming pools, and we are locked in our little houses, if you're lucky, or flats." So already there we saw a massive difference. But looking back now that almost 9 months have passed, actually things have been even worse because you see, those that were starting in big boats, most of those companies, most of their rich individual actually became richer. Like if you think Amazon or if you think Netflix, I mean, they had profit coming out of the pandemic, and the billionaires had the opportunity to use their money to buy dying businesses. Other businesses managed to survive, working remotely, finding a balance, work maybe not a very easy one, but work the balance between being at home with the children and all of that and not being able to go to the office, but find the balance and manage to keep working. A lot of businesses actually have lost pretty much everything. And if you're listening to this video, maybe you are one of them or you know someone that is going through this. I mean, I suffer every time I think about my clients working in hospitality, finding themselves never knowing when they can open, when they're going to be to close, and how much food you buy because you don't know if you need to buy for a week or for 2 weeks or what's going to happen, and the food gets off. So if you close all of a sudden, all of that food is just wasted. I don't know, it really breaks my heart. And so if before we had the big boats and the yachts and the boats and the canoe, now we're more like oil tanker and little boats, and people that are lucky if they still have a life vest, a life jacket to survive in this storm that is this pandemic. Now, recently, I was listening to a podcast, a very interesting podcast on brand. I strongly recommend it. I love it. And there are some interesting topics on branding. And the speaker was Margaret Rogers, and she was talking about the importance of brands sharing, demonstrating their vulnerability. Vulnerability. It's a word I cannot pronounce. But anyway, so this vulnerability, she argued that it's very important that brands actually do share it, that they let the audience know their struggles. And I couldn't agree more, because there is no point in pretending everything is fine when things are actually not that fine. People don't buy into it. People want a real, genuine relationship with brands. And if you're struggling, so important to be open and to say, this is not an easy time for us. But that prompted me to think about something else. It's not just about being vulnerable. Brands are actually raw, as in RAW. It's like this open wound. The flesh is out. They're exposed. Everything businesses, especially small, young businesses, have been investing in has been taken away from them. Not for their decision, not because they made poor decisions, but because of what happened. Some businesses could have been more prepared than others, but still, it's an open wound. The flesh is out. Brands are what I now call the age of raw brands. And I want to tell you a story. I was recently talking with an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur. He had built his business in the past few years and he was doing very well. It was a B2B marketing business. And then the pandemic struck. And in 1 week, he told me, the very first week of lockdown, he lost £65,000, and as of today, he's lost 98% of his business. 98%. What do you do? What do you do if you lose 98% of your business? Well, this young entrepreneur did something that I feel is really remarkable and something I personally totally believe in. So what he did was to look inside, look inwards. If you cannot control what is outside, look inwards, control what is inside you. And he really looked at what were the things he was offering. His company was offering a variety of service. But what he did, was to look at the service where things his business was the best at. And he was stuck in an apartment, in a flat, so alone. He didn't lose hope. What he did was very different. He's starting to strategize. Okay, if this is my unique value proposition, and that's what we talk often in branding. It's like, what is your unique value proposition? What makes you unique? What makes your target audience choosing you over your competitors? Well, he really thought about it and restarted his business, but this time he started offering only one specific service. And unfortunately, he couldn't have the team they used to have, as large as it was, but he managed to find a few young talents, and together they are now rebuilding his business. They're not going to be generalists, they're going to be very focused, but he knew that he needed to find something unique to make his business survive. But not only that, what he did as well was to reach out to all of his contacts, and hence how I know the story, and very openly said, look, this is what happened. We've been in touch before. I cannot offer anymore the service that I used to offer, but I would really like to collaborate on this specific sector. And I have to tell you, like, when I met him years ago, he was a very young, entrepreneur, quite, confident, and we never had the opportunity to collaborate, but yeah, we are in touch. But after the call we had last week, really, the person I had in front of me was a different person. Was a driven yet humble, smart entrepreneur that really made his brand the differentiator and the catalyst for the future success of his business. And I think that just being so open, he wasn't crying, he wasn't whinging, he just said, look, this is what happened, and this is what I'm gonna do. He asked for my opinion, he wants my feedback on some of the things they're doing, because obviously I'm also older, and we work kind of in related fields, so obviously he wants to know, just getting some opinion, feedback on what he's doing. But he also very openly said, and if you have an opportunity to work with me on this specific field, please don't hesitate to contact me. These are my price, and this is what I offer. And I thought that was genuinely bold, to go to someone and say, look, this is what happened, this is what I'm doing, let's work together. And so the lessons that I'm taking, and what I want to encourage everybody to feel and to think about in these tough times, is think about what makes you unique. Go back to your roots. I always say, look inward, but never more than before. You should really do that. Look at what makes you unique. Don't be afraid to communicate your vulnerability. Don't be afraid to connect with people on a genuine level. We don't want to talk to robots now. This is another discussion I had with another clients of mine. They have too many queries, and they used to have face-to-face contacts, and then I would say, oh no, well, we're gonna do an auto-generated email that says we will come back to you. Now, there is nothing wrong with the we will come back to you. We all use those emails, but for a business that used to operate on a very personal level, to take this approach is actually can create a distance. People are already upset because they're not getting what they want because of what is happening in COVID. It's a very long story, I will tell another day. But hiding behind the message is not what I would recommend. What I would recommend strongly is to be yourself, be honest, show your open wood as much as is necessary to, and then use what is happening to just stop and just really find what makes you unique and use what makes you unique as a catalyst for the success of your business in a not too distant future. This is the takes that I learned from my conversation with Ricardo, which is the person I was talking about. And I really hope that by the end of this pandemic, or whatever the end of this time is, all brands that are struggling today will have found a way to survive and actually to thrive. If you need any help with branding, you know where to find me, and I'll speak to you very soon. Goodbye.